Rob Dillingham is one of those players that came over before the NBA trade deadline. And right now, it appears that he's facing a lot of pressure, discussing a number of things of how his experience was in Minnesota and what it's like playing in Chicago, at least, in my belief from some of his comments that he made. Plus, we have a game later on tonight versus the Golden State Warriors. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it all down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Boys podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down for a daily episode prior to the Chicago Bulls game. So if you're tuned in, like talking Bulls basketball, even when they give you a headache, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. But hey, let's talk about Rob Dillingham before we talk about the Chicago Bulls matchup versus the Golden State Warriors that takes place later today. And Rob Dillingham, look, is one of those players that came into the situation of the Chicago Bulls. And to be quite frank with you, I did not have a lot of expectations for the young player. But you ask certain people who cover the Chicago Bulls, you ask some fans that tune in over here on Shy Bulls podcast and various other outlets, they're not really too fond of a guy like Rob Dillingham. While me, I'm of the mindset of, look, it's just a developmental process for me. Now, can I go out there and criticize him? Absolutely. There's a ton of things that he could be better at, but I'm allowing the young fella to get some more game reps under his belt before I draw a complete conclusion, because I still want to save some of my thoughts for other guys like Abu Selly, who I think has performed well for the Chicago Bulls, Nick Richards, who's had some moments, but then had some bonehead plays as well. Really wanted to see Jaden Ivey, but with him dealing with injury, I have not been able to see him and give my honest opinion of him. But speaking on Rob Dillingham, he had an interview. He talked about his time in Minnesota, talking about his moments in the NBA to at least right now. And he has some interesting things. So my question is, before I read the quotes from him, is he faces some pressure of being a good performer for the Chicago Bulls. When during that interview, he was asked a couple questions. He went on to say this: when you play, you got to play perfect in your opportunity or you won't get more opportunities. You play freely because you know you get minutes. But in the NBA, it's not like that. It's you switching your whole mindset to, I got to perform well in these minutes. With me, I'm a smaller guard, so there was way less room for mistakes. Lengthy, but he went on to say, I just started playing worse during that stretch, talking about his time in Minnesota. And after that, I just didn't play. I feel like if you're human, you're definitely going to second guess if you're working hard at something every day, and then you don't really get an opportunity. You start to question like, dang, am I really good at basketball? End quote of a lengthy quote from Rob Dillingham. And the reason I'm asking the question of, is Rob Dillingham facing pressure to perform for the Chicago Bulls? Because it has not been really eye-popping, to say the least, for Rob Dillingham in a Chicago Bulls uniform. Now, there's been some moments where you look at Rob Dillingham and you say, okay, the kid got a handle, the kid got some speed, and he can go out there and get to the basket. But then there are other moments where he gets to the basket, misses the shot, or there's a pass that he needs to make. He doesn't make the pass, or when he attempts the pass, it results in a turnover. And then defensively, sometimes you see active hands from Rob Dillingham, and then sometimes you see him get in some trouble with some of the bigger guards that are out there, get in some trouble with not understanding his assignment on a switch, and so on and so forth. So it's definitely one of those questions where I'm asking, is he facing pressure in a Chicago Bulls uniform? And my honest answer is yes, he should be facing pressure. And I don't think he's the only Chicago Bulls player facing pressure right now. I think there's a number of other guys, but simply focusing on Rob Dillingham, you have to go out there and really be like, bro, what can you bring to this team that will make us want to keep you around for the foreseeable future? Because right now it's an up and down experience with Rob Dillingham. I'm not ready to give up on the kid, but if we being honest and we keeping it a buck, it has not been the cleanest. It has not been the prettiest for Rob Dillingham, but I'm still rooting for the kid to see if he can go out there and start to piece it together. Over the last few games, you see Rob Dillingham kind of slow it down, kind of try to come into being a more effective basketball player, but the numbers don't really say so if you looking at the numbers aspect. Now, Rob Dillingham is in his second year in the NBA. Just last year, he only played 49 games for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And to be quite frank with you, his development was not on par with what those guys felt was necessary for their team. And hence why he only played 49 games over there in Minnesota. And this season played a total of 47 games, 35 games with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and 12 games with the Chicago Bulls. And I got to keep it honest if we call it a spade, and keeping it a buck about Rob Dillingham. The numbers are not the best to look at when you're analyzing everything. Can we go out there and be fair and say, are the numbers, an improvement from his time in Minnesota? Sure. But now his minutes have doubled. So when you look at the doubling of the minutes and you look at him going for playing 9 minutes to 18, the points obviously should increase, right? So you look at the points per game with the Minnesota Timberwolves being at 3.5 and now going up to 6.5. And then when you look at the field goal percentage, it's really not that effective on the basketball court for his sake or the Chicago Bulls' sake. With the Minnesota Timberwolves, only 33% from the field. With the Bulls, 36%. And he has been abysmal from the three-point line, just shooting 19% from the three-point line. So it's been a struggle for him. Yes, he has an increase in rebounds. Yes, he has an increase in assists. But again, for somebody that's getting 18 minutes per game, and I understand it from an aspect of saying, well, there are some games where the minutes are cut because players are in, players are out, or whatnot, and there's a bit uncertainty with head coach Billy Donovan in his position and his role within the Chicago Bulls. But you got to be ready, Rob. You have to be ready, and it's just the life of the NBA. It's just what it really is. You have to absolutely be ready and be able to go out there and perform when called upon. Javon Carter, I hate to bring this up. I hate to bring up Leroy. But there was sometimes Leroy went 3, 4, 5 games. Now he is a vet, so it is a bit of a bad comparison. But a veteran like Javon Carter has come in after sitting 3, 4, 5 games and come in and give you at least something energizing and very, very productive. Not saying that Rob Dillingham isn't giving you anything. I just hope that Rob Dillingham, within the last 18 games of this season for the Chicago Bulls, he can settle in a little bit more, be a little bit more effective with his three-point shot, be a little bit more effective at the rim, because the last game we watched him, he was missing some things. So let's just be more solid, and then I'll hold my complete evaluation for a guy like Rob Dillingham until the end of the season. Now, later today, the Chicago Bulls have a matchup versus the Golden State Warriors after losing to the worst team in the league, the Sacramento Kings. To my people that love the tank, they say good job losing to the worst team in the league. Great tank job for your Chicago Bulls. So, hey, we rock with it, and we move on to the Golden State Warriors later today. Now, on that injury list, it's a lengthy one. Montes Buzelis is probable. Obviously, Zach Collins and Noah Essegay are out. Josh Giddey is probable. Jaden Ivey is still out. Colin Sexton, who went out last game with that lower leg injury, he is questionable. Anthony Simons was at shoot-around. He is obviously out still. Jalen Smith and Patrick Williams, they both have a chance to play. Now, here are 5 things that I'm hoping to see later today from your Chicago Bulls. I want to see Giddey versus the backcourt. Can you utilize your size to take advantage of this smaller front backcourt in Pods and Pat Spencer? Yeah, can you go out there and be a guy that can execute? And I know last game, you know what I'm saying? I believe it was the last game or the game prior that he got a triple-double. So shout out to Josh Giddey on that. And I just want to see him go out there and hoop. Not necessarily saying they got to win. We know what we in for. The Milwaukee Bucks are trying to lose more games than us at this particular moment. So you got to take the wins with the wins and take the losses with the losses. But watch closely to the Milwaukee Bucks if we're keeping it a buck for the chances of trying to have a better opportunity to get in a top 4 slot. Me, I'll be satisfied with the top 5. That's just me. But if we can get in the top 4, that's even better. Not even going to lie to you. Number 2 on the list of what I'm watching is, will Rob be effective in his minutes? This episode started off with talking about Rob Dillingham. So I'm wondering if Rob Dillingham will be effective in his minutes, and when will that time come? Is it this game? Is it next game? Is it never? Let's go out there and do something, Rob. Next on the list, can we please see Leonard Miller? We don't want to see Patrick Williams. Let's see what we got in Leonard Miller. Like, bro, like, can we see Billy Donovan? P. Will, we know who he is. We know he's going to stick around again for another season. Let's see what we can get in another young fella. You're giving Rob opportunities. I commend you for that. But let's see what we can get out of another young fella. Please, let's just see that. Next, I want to see my bigs operate. I believe Draymond Green is going to play today. So, and I always like when my bigs go up against Draymond Green because y'all know he's going to be talking greasy. And let's see if these guys fight back. Let's see if they fight back. Last, I want to see if Montes Buzelis is going to be aggressive on the night. I want to see if Montes Buzelis can go out there and do some things. I expect him to play, but if he doesn't play, it is what it is, man. But hey, we'll see what happens with that. Let's get into a couple comments now. Jay Capone, man, you've been rocking with me all day, brother. What's the word? I've been busy. You feel me, bro? Your boy been around here working. You feel me, bro? What's the word? Shay says, look here, man, let's just cut our losses with this dude. I'm not willing to give him a chance. I've seen this story play out with Cam Payne. Look, that's your opinion. My opinion is that I want to give him 18 games. That's fair if you give up on him. I'm not saying he has to go out there and be a starter, but, look, again, it is what it is. I want to see what he can do for the Chicago Bulls for the final 18 games. I like some of the stuff that he could do. It has not been perfect. Probably more bad than good. But your position is yours. Mine is mine. That's just me. Doc, what's the word? He said, what up, Bulls Nation? Hold your head. You already know we got to hold our head high. Man, what a pressure on Acme and Billy. I'm with you, Steely, but damn. I wish we can apply the pressure up there on the front office, but man, for somehow, some way, they never be able to go out there and face some pressure, bro. I'm with you. Billy want another KD, Harden, Russ again. You ain't going to never get that. Billy better go. Ain't no KD coming through that door. Now, if you can get in that top 5, I ain't saying you get in the KD, but you can get a high-level player. You get in that top 5, we might have a high-level player coming through the building. Melvin said, maybe I'm just being impatient with young player development, but we really should have just kept Ayodo Subu. I'm also finally with developing Trey Jones more even at 26, even Jaden Ivey more. Even though we ain't seen Jaden Ivey that much, Melvin, you still on par at that? I'm with it too, though, but I just had to ask the question. 204 and 22, 204 and 220 record for Acme. When is enough going to be enough? Billy record is 221 and 243 as a Bulls head coach. That is, if everybody here in this chat do bad at their job, we getting fired. How they get to keep their job? I'm with you. Hey, Bobby, you and C-Dub, Steve-O, if he gets the chance as well, should talk about the lack of young player development Bulls had since Butler in 2011, even going back to when Tibbs coached. That's a very good point. There's a number of players that we can go to. Oakley, what up? Who do you think was the best player to ever play on the Chicago Bulls? Michael Jordan? The player that I seen, I go back to Mike because I had to go back. But the player that I seen from inception to departure, Derrick Rose. That's just my personal opinion. He talking about goatfish. Hey, there's 23 people watching like Michael Jordan number. It is what it is, brother. Still got to show up. The coach has to actually give him those consistent minutes. Until that happens, done data, huh? Everything I'm saying about Rob is bullshit. Rob? That's what you talking about, Nuba? You talking about everything I'm talking about with Rob is bullshit until he get minutes? I gotta know. All right. Melvin. For example, since Jimmy Butler drafted in 2011, only guys like Levine, if you want to count him, Kobe, Io, Portis was the only players who developed well here. Gafford was, but they traded him. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not mad at that. We not winning shit with no. I don't need Rob to win shit. That's the point. I'm just trying to see if he can develop into a player, whether that's here or not. I'm just want to see in 18 games, can he get better? I don't expect him to help the Chicago Bulls take the next step. Will it be nice? Absolutely. But can the player get better? That's all I'm focused on. I know Montes Buzelis is getting better. I know Josh Giddey can be better despite the injuries this season. I'm not expecting Rob to come in and be a game changer for the Chicago Bulls. Rob needs confidence and play within himself. I agree with that, DJ 2K. Nitro. That's a crazy ass DJ name. That shit cold though. I like it. DJ 2K Nitro. Hey, that shit got a ring to it. That shit got a ring to it. But he's playing better defense than expected. He does good against quick guards. I think, like I said, I like some stuff that I see. There's some things that he needs works on. I just want to see if the player can get better. He's going to play minutes. How many minutes? I don't know. But he's going to get better. Well, hopefully he gets better, but he's going to get minutes. I think Billy Donovan is going to keep giving him minutes. That's my personal opinion. Shout out to my guy Sal from Horns Over Hoop podcast. He said, is Rob the new Marcus Teague? I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to call him that. Marcus Teague, oh boy. Headache right there, boy. Probably more so than not. But I ain't ready. I told people at the trade deadline, to the end of the season, it's about player development. I can only draw my conclusion once the season concludes. Yes, there are some things I can go out there and pinpoint to say that I like, some things that I don't like, but I'm saving full evaluation until the end of the season. That's just my position. I don't expect everybody to have that same position because there are some people that's like, to hell with Rob. He don't even belong in the NBA. And that's fair. That's their opinion. I'm not arguing with anybody about how they feel about Rob Dillingham because he ain't giving, like he not placing many of us that support him or at least want to watch him develop, not giving us a strong argument. Yeah, we got an argument. It's not a strong argument to go back and forth with. It's just like, all right, bro, you got it. That's just how I stand with it. Can that possibly mean that is leading to him not being the guy? Cool. But again, I said at the trade deadline, I want to see Jaden Ivey. I want to see Rob Dillingham. I want to see Leonard Miller. I want to see these guys. That's all I was hanging my hat on. So we'll see. For sure. We'll absolutely break it down and we'll see. It's just what it is. But hey, man, it's time for dinner. So your boy got to get up out of here. I ain't gonna lie. Rob is too light to fight, too thin to win. Marty Ma. He is light though. He is a smaller guard. So he got work to do, man. That's just what it is. He got work to do. I like the underdog story. That's just me. I like the underdog story until I don't like you no more. He hasn't given me any reason to not like him anymore. Can he be better? Absolutely. Thanks and thoughts. What's the word, my boy? You good? Hey, man. Hey, but I'm about to get ready in this thing. Me and C-Dub will be live later tonight, as I should say, for the live call when the Chicago Bulls take on the Golden State Warriors. So make sure if you're tuned in for the first time, you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you hit that notification bell too. The live call will be live and popping when the Bulls tip off versus the Golden State Warriors later tonight. Make sure you're there. It's going to be lit. I'm going to definitely catch y'all on the next one. Leave your feedback. Let me know how we did today. Hey, but that's it for the meantime, in between time. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace.
Cognac. Gang.